Hey, I'm Nick.
And I'm Ricky.
And welcome to the Demand Gen Daily Podcast. All right, another episode coming at you. So we are going to talk about user-generated content and how it can help you cut acquisition costs. It's the first time we talk about this, but it will definitely not be the last. It is probably the industry's worst kept secret of how well UGC works. So user-generated content, we call it UGC for short, if you're not familiar with the vernacular. But the reason I say it's like it's the worst kept secret is that I feel like everybody knows about it and everyone talks about it, but
not everyone's doing it.
But no one does it. And very few people do it, right? So it's one of those interesting things where you hear people talk about it all the time. We get potential customers reaching out to us all the time talking about UGC. Hey, should we do this? I'm looking for help around this, blah, 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 etc. I've tried doing it myself. It didn't work. How can you guys help? And it's one of these things where it's like everybody's telling you that they're doing it, but they don't know how they're getting there and they don't know if it works or not. When it comes to user-generated content, Ricky, like high level, maybe give people like the high level on like where does it work, where doesn't it work, and what are maybe some of the pitfalls here?
Yeah, absolutely. A couple of major benefits to UGC that I want to cover. First of all, the cost is one of the major benefits. Of course, you could be working with a very expensive content creator, but generally speaking, especially if you pick the right person to work with, you can have a very cost-effective video or series of content created from a content creator, and it could cost you a fraction of what it would cost you to do like a full production, high production video. And when we're talking about a big difference in cost, you could produce UGC for a couple $100, a few $100, whereas videos properly done with good production, you're talking several $1,000s into the tens of thousands of dollars. Huge difference. So it's great for especially small businesses that are very cost conscious. But there are a couple places where it doesn't necessarily work the best. And an example of that is if you're trying to position yourself up as a luxury brand, maybe you do want to go for the really high quality production style video, but you could still utilize UGC in other ways. Some of the best ways to utilize it is it's all the way throughout your funnel, in your warm campaigns, in your cold campaigns, because really the conversion on these user generated videos is often so much higher than what you'd see with a regular produced video.
Yeah, and then to touch on that, some of the best ads we've ever run are based on like a UGC campaign that we've done where we've reached out to a bunch of micro influencers, like people with very small followings, and they've created great videos that are very engaging. But there's another side of this, which is I think it goes back to iteration, where when we're helping people run like UGC campaigns, like we're generally reaching out to multiple people, and in some cases, and not all cases, but depending on the size of the initiative, we can sometimes reach out to 5 or 10 or more people and get back to like 5 to 7 really good videos out of 10 to 15 contacts that are usable. And A, running them organically, but B, running them as ads, and then A/B testing them against each other is fantastic. And you can generally do this for the cost of one product. Two, if the influencer is a little bit bigger, maybe you might have to pay them some money as well. But if you find people with like pretty high quality content on their timeline, you can pretty much set your watch to what you're going to be getting when it comes to the quality from that content creator. So there are pitfalls here. Like obviously, number one, is that content creator aligned to your brand? So will this person's brand help or hurt you? And that's like a bit of a tough one, especially if the brand guidelines aren't overly clear. But going through and really doing the research around what is this creator saying on the platform of your choice, but also all the other platforms that they're currently on, because their messages might be slightly different depending on if they're on Instagram or TikTok or whatever. And a lot of these content creators are posting everywhere with slight variations. So do you agree with what they say? Is it in line with your brand? Is definitely one of those items. Are there any others, Ricky?
Yeah, what I was going to say in regards to picking the right content creators, part of this is scale, right? We talk about the ability to have multiple videos to run A/B tests, and having that scale is phenomenal. So the other thing is it is a lot of work to reach out to content creators individually. If you're reaching out, if you're a small business and you don't have the budget to have someone manage this for you, you can do it manually. You can reach out individually. It is a bit more work. You just have to build those relationships and make sure you're getting in touch with the right people. Definitely try to utilize the platforms that are out there. If you go on Google and search for UGC platforms, there's so many options where you can just get in touch with a ton of content creators at the same time. And this is where, like you were saying, Nick, you have to have a really good brief. You have to have a really good brand guideline to give them as much direction as possible.
And then if you're getting into more advanced things, like obviously if you have a bit more money and you can retain an agency or something like that, the agency should be helping with some very high level storyboards and things like that people can follow. But there's other ways also of getting like that UGC, which is contests. Running contests where people can submit a video if you have a high brand equity with the people that currently follow you, getting them to do the videos, and then just put in the disclaimer that they're going to be used for advertising purposes is a great way of doing this. And I think the best advice that we've ever gotten and we've given our clients lately is really picking your battles when it comes to UGC, because people say I don't agree with people that say it's a cheap way to get a video, because it's not. Once you start factoring in the time, it takes a lot longer than you think, especially if you don't know exactly what you're doing. However, if you can find the right partners and use them on an ongoing basis, it's a great way to lower overall customer acquisition cost and have incentivize the potential influencers in a way where maybe they can make some money if the people that they follow them are buying your products. So like giving them like a little bit of a leg up and paying them fairly is definitely what you want to be doing, because the last thing you want is to not maintain that relationship, because the relationships in this space, creators can't talk to each other all the time. And you want to have a good name in that industry for sure.
Absolutely. And one of the things I would just want to leave you guys with is, if you haven't done UGC, and if you're in a situation as a marketer where you're going, okay, I've tested so many different things and I'm wondering like, how can I get my conversion rates up? And I'm not seeing like a clear path, try UGC. It could be one of those things where the content just impacts the output so much in terms of the result. And so it could be the thing that unlocks that higher conversion rate you're looking for. Definitely give it a try and see where it goes for you.
Awesome. So please remember to like, follow, subscribe, leave us a message as well. We do answer questions. Until next time, thank you so much.